Mr. Secretary, Border Patrol in the month of December processed more migrants entering the United States illegally than any month in the history of that agency. Why is that happening? How do you explain it?
So we are seeing the greatest number of displaced people, not only at our southern border, not only in the Western Hemisphere, but across the globe. You know, I am involved in bilateral and multilateral meetings with my counterparts from foreign countries in Europe, in Asia, in the Indo-Pacific, all over the world. And migration, the challenge of displaced people, is a subject that comes up in every single conversation. We have the effects of climate change, poverty.
I mean, can you realize this is actually for adults? I'm sitting here in Eastern Europe, and I'm watching American media. And you gotta understand, when you see something on television, it doesn't necessarily mean that the person saying that believes it. It means that the people listening to that are going to accept it. I mean, the rest of the world is looking in bewilderment. How much social conditioning do you need to have a population that can sit at this comedy show and be like, yeah, no, that sounds reasonable. Well, like all those people that are coming, well, it's climate change, of course. Why are they going to Siberia then? This is what journalism looks like. I mean, these people are journalisming so hard at CNN. This is a professional news media outlet. He is definitely asking the hard questions of this. Like, if you are an actual news reporter and someone came and said this garbage to you, the follow-up question should be like, well, why aren't they going to Siberia then? Like, if climate change is the problem, if it's so hot over there, so they're running away from the heat, well, then they try to go to, I don't know, Russia, where it's cold? I mean, I'm willing to bet that some of the people that are coming to the United States border are coming from places that are hotter than the United States themselves in that particular year. Now, what's also interesting, and this is, I know, like, if you bring this up, they will say, well, you don't have the doctor in the lab coat. But I'm not even going to show you a picture, okay? I want you guys to look for pictures yourselves. Like, just go on the internet, go on Google, right? Authoritative search engine. So go on Gulag and look for immigrants at the border. That's what I want you to search, okay? Just do that. And then you're going to see a couple of pictures that pop up. How many women do you see? And you can do this for Europe as well. Like, you can do it for Italy, you can do it for Greece, you can do it for Sweden, you know, like, how many women are there? And if it's climate change, that's the reason, are you saying that women are heat resistant? I mean, I know that CNN had this article that said air conditioning is sexist, so maybe their scientists are onto something, because for me it's bewildering. Well, like, if, heaven forbid, I would have to be displaced because it's like the Sahara Desert in Romania, I wouldn't leave my wife behind, would you? Right? So like, if I was a reporter at CNN, you know, that would be a question that I would like to ask and have the answer. It's like, why are only the men fleeing from this poverty? Who's causing this poverty? Really, like, around the globe in 2023, like, we're more rich now than people were during the medieval times? Like were people from medieval times just fleeing from poverty and stuff? Or is it just like a modern take? Very interesting. The second one, and this is another question that should have been asked, but for some reason it didn't get brought up. You know, like, maybe CNN should hire me. Maybe this is the problem. Maybe their reporters just don't know how to ask questions. You know, like, maybe this is a subject that is too complicated for them to understand. Maybe this is like way above their pay grade. So they just don't know what questions to ask, so maybe they should hire me instead. Here's an excellent question. I mean, there are, again, videos on social media, which I know that CNN doesn't have access to. I mean, they never go on Twitter. They never, you know, hear the citizen journalism, like, what is that? But there are people that go to the border and they ask, like, where are you from? And they're like, China. Where are you from? Somalia. And you're looking at the map, you know, and it's a big distance. Like, if I want to travel to China, I don't consider myself to be a poor individual, but it would be incredibly costly for me to travel, like just as a tourist, not to actually live there, right? But like to travel to China, it would be incredibly costly for me to do so. And if you're saying that these individuals are fleeing poverty, how do they get more money than I have? Like, how do they manage to get from point A to point B? Like, I understand when a person is fleeing from one country to another, right? Like, when Ukrainian people came to Romania, and by the way, like, most of them were elderly, women, and children. Like, this is what we got when Russia went to Ukraine. Like, I looked at the refugees, and that's what I saw. And it made sense, like, some of them had just the clothes on their back, and I could understand. It's like, okay, well, they are fleeing the war, right? It makes sense. And how did they get here? Well, it's a neighboring country. You don't need that much cash. Like, if there was a war in Romania, I personally could take my wife and go to Ukraine without even a car. It would be a difficult journey, but we could manage it. However, it's like, for me to just teleport over to the Texan border, right? Like, that's bizarre. So it means, like, someone has to be funding this. Someone has to be organizing this. Like, how do you even know how to get there? Like, I personally wouldn't know how to get to the United States by myself, okay? Like just fleeing poverty from Romania and just magically appear at the Texan border. It's bizarre, isn't it? Why isn't the CNN guy asking those questions? Maybe the guy has a very good answer for it. Maybe I'm stupid and I don't know. Like, I'm pretty sure there must be competent answers for every one of these questions. And I'm sure a bigot like me would shut up about it if the CNN reporter would do his job. The whole thing, I guess, is that most people are aware what's going on. Like, yeah, there are NGOs which are taking people across the border. There are Democrats, politicians that are saying that's a good thing because they want to turn Texas purple. Like those things are already out there. Like you can research and you can find them. They're not hidden. People understand this, but the thing that I guess like annoys people the most is the propaganda where you have to lie. Like, you can't just say that. You got to pretend that you don't know. You gotta lie about it. And it reminds me of the times under Soviet Union. When there's massive starvation, there's massive famine, but the propaganda posters show bountiful harvest. And if you pretend that there is anything besides bountiful harvest, well, you may get fired from your job, you may get ostracized from polite society, and if you keep doing it, you may even get locked up in prison, right? So this is why a lot of people are bewildered by this. And the take as well, it's like, really, it's climate change that's causing people... Like 10 years ago, that wouldn't happen. You know what it is? I'll tell you what it is. It's fucking welfare. That's what it is. Like the Statue of Liberty. It's like, oh, America, give me your poor and blah, blah, blah. They didn't have welfare back then, did they? Yeah, life in America was very harsh and difficult, but if you had the talent and if you had the skill, you could make something out of it. That's what the Statue of Liberty talks about. It's not like go to America in order to get free shit. You want immigration to stop? It's very simple. Cut the welfare. Why is it equitable, by the way? Like, why is it equitable that a person goes and works for 8, sometimes 12 hours a day? His money is taken away. Like, he can't put food on the table to his family. His money gets taken away by taxes and redistributed to foreign wars and other conflicts and other people that he probably wouldn't give to. Why is that equitable? Why is it fair? So yeah, no, this is what's happening. And if you look at the policy as well, which of course CNN isn't going to touch, Texas started busing migrants around to New York, to Chicago, and immediately like those governors and mayors started talking like Donald Trump on steroids when that happened. Like the people from Martha's Vineyard started complaining for some reason. And now, like, the Biden administration is trying to make it difficult or to even sue Texas for doing this, right? So you're not allowed to secure the border. You're not allowed to bus them around. And at the same time, you're not allowed to say that the Democrats are trying to turn Texas purple. Interesting. What can I say? But again, like, this is just my opinion. You know, I'm from the outside looking in. The hell do I know? I mean, maybe it is climate change. You know, maybe the weather just got hot in Mexico and it's people fleeing the poverty from Mexico that just happens spontaneously. There is no reason why poverty happens in the world. It's not that people keep electing corrupt politicians. No, it's never the leader's fault. No, poverty is like this thing that just happens. It's just like maybe the soil. I don't know. So if they all move to America, they leave the poverty behind. Is that how it works? Like you just no? Like if you leave, so poverty is here, right? Like where I'm sitting right now, it's poverty. But if I go to Germany, I get rich. Of course, I'll probably get rich on the German taxpayer money and their backs, but I'm fleeing poverty. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.